Hey, you got AKA the Weathered Soul, and you got DJ Doug there. Say hi, DJ Doug.
Hi, DJ Doug.
You got us on the Weathered Soul podcast, and look, hey, we got some brand new stuff on. We got a brand new look, hopefully a brand new sound and everything else. We're the best podcast you've never heard of, and I am AKA the Weathered Soul, and that is DJ Doug. We are glad you're here today, and the name of our show today is Icky, Bugs, Slugs, Beetles, and it ain't all in the garden. So, I mean, we've been fooling around. I've got these new programs. I'm making overlays and all kinds of stuff for StreamYard, just having a good time, and we're glad that you are here today. If you're on YouTube right now, please share us and hit that share button, hit that like button. If you're on Facebook, leave us a comment and say that you like us, whatever. The chat room is open in YouTube, so go ahead and go there. And there's a couple of ways you can contact us. Number one, by going to our Facebook groups, to the Weathered Soul podcast, or you can go to the Facebook group In the Pit of My Stomach for your stuff that I do for the plant-based supplements and the plant-based supplements probiotics. Excuse me. You can email us at info@theweatheredsoul.com or info.inthepitofyourstomach@gmail.com. You can also listen to us on anchor.fm/The Weathered Soul Podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher Radio Public Podcasts, Overcast, Breaker, Google Podcasts, and any other podcatcher you might want to use. And you can watch us on YouTube on the Weathered Soul Liberty Network. I can't talk tonight. We need to get to 100 subscribers so we can get our own custom URL. So please share this with if you're watching us live, or if you get us on the video, subscribe. We need 100 subscribers, so please share us. And then also, if you're watching us on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that share button, and subscribe. And finally, please leave us a 5-star rating and a comment on iTunes or any place, and we would love you forever. How you doing, Dougie, today, man? How's it going, buddy? We're here, man. Uh-oh, you're muted, buddy. Hold on. Well, yep. Well, you're muted. You have to unmute yourself. There you go.
I unmuted myself. Yeah, I like to mute myself during the intro just in case, there's any background noises or anything.
Oh, well, we're used to doing the dishes, so don't worry.
Alrighty.
As long as you're used to my squeaky chair, I can get used to Abby doing the dishes. So.
It's an organic show.
It's an organic show. We're completely unscripted, but hey, we really want to thank all our listeners out there. I had some terrific discussions on Facebook. If you want to go to Facebook and just follow me, Bruce McGee, on your Facebook page, or you can follow us at the Weathered Soul podcast page there, the group. Go ahead and listen. But Donna was our number one commenter this week. Actually, Donna is my mother-in-law, and she will be watching, and I'm sure she's watching right now. Hello, Donna. And we just want to say thank you. And she thinks that I cut off Dougie too much and that I should let Dougie talk.
Oh, I like Donna.
So I am going to try my best today to try not to cut off Dougie as much as I say, because she says that Dougie has a lot of important things to say. A lot of things that Dougie has to say really resonate with her, and that's what we're about. We're about community and unity, and we're about resonating with people. So if Dougie is the one that's going to get us more listeners and more subscribers, then I'm all for it, and we just love Dougie. But
well, I thought that was the whole reason why you had me here.
Yeah, that's the only reason I have you here, is because you give us ratings, man. It's great to know that you are here. And like I said, the chat room is open, so if you guys want to leave a comment, we are on. Let me see. We can only get comments on the YouTube cut right now. So if you're on YouTube, go ahead and leave us a comment. Let us know that you're here. And like I said, we're just glad you're here. It's been a great week for me. I didn't go to the open mic last night, but last week I had my first time that I had performed in front of an audience in probably over 2 years, and it was so nice to be out and be able to take my guitar out take my own mic, and because I usually only take my own mic anyway, because it's kind of it's a safety thing even before. I've got bad colds and flus from using other people's mics. But anyway, there were some rules going into the open mic, but I just really would like to thank 88 Keys and Morgan Hill for opening up their establishment again and having open mics so us musicians can get out there and do our thing and carve our craft, man. And I just had a great time doing it. It was really good. I didn't go last week or this last weekend or this last Wednesday night, which would be yesterday, because I kind of testing things out. With this coronavirus, it's a real thing. And some people are vaccinated, some people aren't. It does fly through the air, especially inside areas where you're going to be enclosed for a while. I was in there for a couple of hours, so kind of testing my feet in there until I get more accustomed to being off of this so-called lockdown that we're having. But it was a great week and great weekend. I had a nice kind of a mellow weekend. I let Tracy kind of take over the backyard because we're all planted in our garden now, and I just had a really great time. We have beautiful weather going on in California. It's almost summer. We're in the middle of spring, and man, we're gonna have a nice little heat wave. And just getting ready for Tracy's birthday this weekend, man. I can't wait. We're gonna have a good time on Saturday night. Gonna have a couple friends over, spark up the fire pit, do some whatever Tracy wants for her birthday dinner, which she hasn't told me yet, but looking forward to spending it with our best friends, Doug and Abby. And Doug, how's your week, man? How you doing?
Well, are we going to get to have a spanking on Saturday?
Ooh. Not on YouTube Live.
One smack for every year, right?
Yeah, she's only, well, let me see, I can lie about it, but I mean,
so that'd be 11 smacks, right?
She's quite a bit younger than I am, but I mean, I was lucky in that sort that I got a nice young, beautiful woman that I married, Tracy. She's the love of my life, and I'm wishing her such a happy birthday. We didn't get to celebrate it too much last year, and this year we're going to make up for time, and we're just going to have just like I said, what we have every year. Doug, you've been.
Well, we need to make up a bunch of birthdays. I mean, it's the same thing with everything. We haven't had a birthday party in over a year for anybody.
That is true. True. So I'm going to be let's see, 60, 61 this year. We're gonna celebrate our 30th and 31st anniversary. You just celebrated your 59 and 60, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
And then Abby's coming up on 25 and 26, so that's pretty cool. I like that. And Tracy's coming up on 25 and 26. So we're pretty fortunate guys to have some young hot women that hang around us. So.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when if you play the field for a while, and then
yeah, you get it. It's an old man's game. That's why we're weathered souls. We're able to trap those women whenever we need to. So.
Hey, listen, my brother had a girlfriend half his age, and he was pretty proud of it at first, but then when he realized that it was ridiculous, it was kind of hard to get rid of her.
I just, I look at these guys that have real young ladies for guys our age, 60 years old having 30-year-olds, even younger than that. I mean, to me that's a little strange, but I mean, I don't connect. I can't connect. I just not in that same realm. I don't know what it is. I mean, I guess girls are girls. I mean, girls are going to be girls. They mature much faster than us because I'm probably still 13 in a lot of ways, but
there's a lot of biological reasons for that. But it's the truth. It's like there's a lot of things. I mean, we can have a whole show about that someday.
Well, I'm telling you, unless a 30-year-old girl, that would want to, sleep at like 8 o'clock at night. I mean, we probably get along, but I guess that's about the time that I freaking hit the sack. By the time we're done with this show, I'm going like, Doug, it's time for me to go to bed, dude. But
yeah,
go ahead.
I remember when we were in we were younger. We probably in our late 20s, early 30s. We went to the Daytona for the races. So, we spent the whole week. We did the 24-hour first, and then we did the 500 the next weekend, and the week in between, we just kind of like had a camper. We drove it down to Daytona Beach, parked on the beach, and just watch the girls go by. You could drive on the beach then, and we'd fly our kites, go swimming. Everything was a blast. But we brought our friend's dad, and it was so funny because he's sitting on the beach and in a chair, and he's watching the girls go by, and he's like looking at us, and he's going, "You know what? The only thing I could do with that is pat it on the ass and wish it good luck."
I think the best thing my wife has ever said when we've been at the beach or a fair or something like that, she's all like, "Yeah, you catch her, but what the hell are you gonna do with her?"
Exactly.
Minute man.
Yeah, that was funny. That was a good old time because you get all the girls driving by in convertibles, like sitting on the rear deck and stuff, and this was 25, 30 years ago already. So you still had big cars that were convertibles, like you had like Cadillacs that were convertibles. Mm-hmm. So like 6 girls sitting around the outside rim of the back of the car driving by. They're all in their bikinis. We're sitting there just doing our stuff. But Daytona Beach Florida Beach has been in the news recently because of people having fun.
Oh, absolutely.
Whether they're safe or not doesn't matter. They're doing what they're doing. Yeah. But so you see the beach is what they're like. I mean, it's like a giant party.
Absolutely. It's always a giant party down there. So you're getting that vitamin D, right?
Yeah.
In more ways than one. But anyway, hey, we just want to welcome you to the Weathered Soul podcast, only because of the fact that it's what me and Dougie love to do every Monday. It's Thursday night here today because we had a little bit of technical difficulties. In fact, I had to work late most of the week only because my 9 to 5 needs me. And frankly, my job pays me more than this podcast does. So
it's Thursday.
Yes.
Boy, I thought it was an awfully long weekend.
And Tuesday night, I had a business meeting with my Plexus probiotics and plant-based supplements that I had that took a little bit of time. And then Wednesday night, I was going to go to the open mic, but I deferred to going to the open mic. I'll be going there next week. If you guys are in Morgan Hill, Gilroy area, if you want to go see some great music, go to 88 Keys on Wednesday night. Actually, you can go to 88 Keys from Wednesday to Saturday night, and you can see some great music there. But I'm going to be there about 6:30 on next Wednesday night, 88 Keys on Dunn Avenue in Morgan Hill, and you have we'll have a bunch of people there doing open mic. You come out and support your local music scene. But you caught me and Dougie what we do every week, and this is like our Zoom call because the studio isn't done yet, and what you're looking in the background is AJM Studios, and what you see is what's going to be on the walls because in honor of my son who passed away about a year and a half ago. I told my wife that we did need the space. We need to clean stuff out, but we're going to use his room as a studio, and I just told her that I wouldn't take anything off the walls and stuff like that. So everything else is going to be the studio that we had before. And as soon as everything kind of calms down with COVID and everything, then Dougie will be back over here, and we'll be doing our live directly from the studio, and you'll hear us that way. And I can't wait till that happens. It will happen sometime this in the next couple of months, but we're working hard on doing that. Like I said, you get to see this live call. Me and Dougie do this every week, unscripted, and it's just a fun time that me and Dougie do. I mean, me and Dougie talk a couple times a week, so I mean, it's not like we're not talking every day or something like
Absolutely.
that. We do. So we talk about what's going to be going up on the show, and we have decided, or I've decided,
and sometimes what not,
and what not. Yeah. So some things are left better unsaid.
You bet, man.
And pretty soon we'll be doing some extra content and some pre-show and stuff like that. But until then, you're just stuck with us doing this on YouTube Live and on Facebook Live, and also on Anchor.fm if you want to listen to us on the podcast side. But as I've been telling you, everybody, is that we're trying to kind of curtail out of, we love to lampoon the news. We love to lampoon everything that we can, but we like to get serious every once in a while. And one of the things that I'm really serious about and I'm passionate about, and that Doug shares a little bit of passion with me about, is about gardening and working in your backyard and soils and ecology and composting and this and that. And last week we talked a little bit about planting and working the soil. And this week we're going to talk about bugs, because that's the way that we looked at today. We're talking about icky bugs, slugs, beetles, and they ain't all in the garden. And they ain't all in the gardens after we talk about the stuff in the garden. But we just want.
Yeah, well, we're just talking about icky bugs in the garden. As far as the slugs and everything else goes, that's outside.
In any case, what we're looking at to show you a couple of things that I hate the most, but they can be beneficial to your garden, and sometimes they can't. So you just never know. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to share this little screen with you. And what do you think that we first come up with? Oh, man, how many times do you see these things out in your garden and you go like, ooh? You don't even touch them because you're afraid of that. You're afraid of that little pincher right there, man. That pincher is like really, really scary. And I've never been really pinched by a pincher bug, so I'm not sure if they're really like that harmful as far as getting you with their pincher, but anyway, nonetheless, they're called earwigs, and earwigs are a pest that's in your garden. You find them in your garden. Mostly, you will find them if you do lettuces and cabbages, artichokes and stuff like that. They like to hide in all the little nooks and crannies, and that's where I find them in my garden, as a matter of fact. But they are also beneficial, and that's kind of what we're here to talk about. Dougie's got a couple. Yeah,
you'll find them underneath pots, and if you have like say you got a sack of compost next to the garden, right? If you find them, they like to be underneath stuff, and they're so thin they can fit in, right? So boards, anything. So sometimes you're working in the garden and you just move something and you see some of them scurry out, and you're like, yeah. But it's really not that bad if there's only a few of them.
Yeah. So the earwigs, which are what they call order Demaptera. What is an earwig? And also Dougie has a little article that he's going to be reading out of, but I just wanted to kind of say something about him. That earwigs are a slender insect that get their name from the old European myth that they crawl into people's ears and tunnel into their brains while they're sleeping.
Or lay their eggs.
Come on!
Always creeped me out when I was camping.
This is a superstition has no scientific backing. The pinchers located on the back of an earwig's abdomen are quite frightening to many people, and there are more than 20 different earwig species occurring in the United States. And read on to learn about earwig control and how to get rid of earwigs. So that's kind of what we're going to do tonight. We're going to talk about kind of different bugs and stuff that are going on. I want actually Doug to read off of his little item. He's going to send me the link here pretty soon so I can link into the show notes, because it's really important for us to let you know that me and Doug are both into gardening. We're both into ecology. We're both into composting. We're both into growing our own stuff. And it's really important for us to let you guys know some of these things that are beneficial. They could be beneficial and they could be harmful. They can be both at the same time. So one of these things that we want to do is to make sure that your garden is going to be producing the most crops that they can, while at the same time preserving or not preserving these bugs, or at least controlling the type of bugs that you have and weeds that you have in your garden. And I think it's just really, it's one of those things that a lot of people don't know. I mean, you can look things up on YouTube all you want, but unless you're getting the advice straight from somebody who really knows and works the soil, it's one of those things that is beneficial for everybody to know. Go ahead, Doug.
I just lost the link. Yeah, it figures, right?
I'm trying to let him talk, guys. I'm trying to let him talk. I'm going to drink some water now, and I'll let my puppet talk over here, so he can talk at the same time I drink. Right here.
Well, I got I had an interesting article off of Good Housekeeping, and so it's just goodhousekeeping.com. Anyway, it tells you basically what they're about, and like you said, they get the bad rep from crawling in your ear and laying their eggs and that stuff. They don't do that. And they're one of those two-way, good and bad garden pests, right?
Yeah. So
The article goes,
the
article goes on to say that that they're beneficial for composting, and they're predators because they eat nuisance bugs like aphids and mites and undesirable nematodes, things like that, and other insect larvae. That they're omnivorous, so they also eat plants. Right, so they're in there breaking down leaf material into compost. Or they're keeping bad bugs out.
right.
But if you get too many of them and there's not enough rotting material for them to eat, they'll just move on to whatever's next, and that's your garden.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think the best thing that I've done, and I was thinking about this the other day because I'm looking at my garden, and right in the middle of between my two biggest plots, I have my compost bin, and I think I've been very fortunate with. I mean, I've got some things that are eating some leaves and stuff, but nothing on the scale of what one of my friends John in Pennsylvania is dealing with. He's dealing with something that's just going in and just clipping off his cucumbers, and he's just having a real bad time with them. But being fortunate enough to have some place that's composting and actually is active composting is really beneficial to your garden. Not only does it give the insects a place to actually do the composting, it keeps them away actually from your garden. And once you're done composting, of course, they're going to go after your plants. I think probably
right. The other thing is you don't want them to come indoors.
No.
They could be a real nuisance when they come indoors. There's it says here they can become serious pests when they come indoors. Also, when outdoor populations get out of control. And then it goes on to tell you a couple of like ways to help trap them and get rid of them. And you had a couple of good suggestions too.
Yeah.
Basically, they like flat stuff. So if you laid like 2 sheets of cardboard together, right, or like I think you said a roll of newspaper in a tube with one end blocked off,
right?
They crawl in there because it's like the same thing. Like we're saying, they like to get into cabbages, rosebuds, hollyhock buds, anything that's a tight flowered bud like that. So they go in between the leaves, and all you do is just pick that up and throw it in your trash can.
Right, exactly. And that's exactly
what. Make another one and put it back down.
Yeah, so probably the best thing that I can do if you don't have a compost pile is to take your newspaper. If you get a newspaper, you guys, who gets the newspaper anymore? But but if you get your newspaper, probably the best thing you can do is just to wrap that thing up tight, put a couple of rubber bands around it to make a nice little roll, nice little newspaper log, and then dip it in some water and soak it. And once you dip it in some water and soak it, you just lay it out in your garden where you think that you're having the most problem with earwigs. And then the next morning, what you'll do is you'll go out and you'll take that log and you'll just go ahead and put it in your garbage, because I guarantee you that you'll have earwigs in there, and probably some other bugs that along with it. So, I mean, we're going to talk about our next.
It also goes on to say that earwigs feed at night. So yes. If you want to find out if it's the earwigs that are chewing up your garden, you can go out and look at night in the night,
right?
Because most other insects, caterpillars and things like that, would be eating them during the day.
Right, exactly.
So you go out in the garden, you see the caterpillar, you squish it, you throw it on the ground, let its body rot.
Yeah, and same thing with slugs and crap like that. I like to torture them with salt. So,
but the other thing they say too is a good defense for them is the diatomaceous earth. The powder stuff. It says to get food grade, but I don't know what the difference is between like food grade and stuff you put in your filter. I guess they're talking about not getting garden grade. Well, it's used as calcium for gardens too.
Yeah, when I had the koi, I've got a whole bag of the what do you call it? Diatomaceous earth.
Diatomaceous earth.
Diatomaceous earth,
yes.
And the koi would eat that. So I've got food grade, and I haven't used it yet. And John, who lives in Pennsylvania, has actually put it down in his garden. And I haven't really checked with him to see if it's worked for him, but he's having a hell of a time with whatever's eating his.
We always called it dynamite because when we had a pool that used that for filter material, it was the brand was like Dynamite, something like that. Yeah. So we just called it dynamite. Throw some dynamite in the garden; it'll get rid of those things.
Yeah.
But yeah, actually, what it is on a microscopic level, it's little tiny shells. It's little tiny like calcium shells.
Mm-hmm.
And to something like a slug or an earwig, that's like crossing the Sahara Desert.
Got it. Kind of like snails going over eggshells and stuff like that. They can't.
Yeah. And it's dry, so like
they can't deal with the sharp edges, right?
Right, and a lot of these techniques also work for our next favorite bug.
Yeah, our next favorite bug right here. We'll do right there now.
There he is.
We're going to upset a lot of kids here because how many kids actually?
The Roly-Poly.
Roly-Polies, man. For hours, I would sit there and touch Roly-Polies and let them roll up, and then I'd flick them across the yard. I don't know how these poor things are tortured over the years, but I know kids just love them. And it's interesting about Roly-Polies because I never knew this until I just read it. And they are crustaceans, man. They are not insects. They are crustaceans. They are part of the crustacean family. And you can probably
sometimes they're referred to as lice. Not really, as a type of lice. Yeah.
A woodlouse. I hear that's what they're called too. So I mean, it wouldn't be beyond me to know that they are called something else different than that.
Lousy louses.
Those lousy louses. And then also, here's the pill bugs. I'll read a little bit about them. They are Armadillium, like an armadillo. Vulgari. Sometime we're going to have to get a plant or horticulturist or something here that really is going to correct my Latin because
we need a course in Latin. A lot of people can do that stuff, but it's not like Japanese where it's just 2-letter syllables. It's like, all right, where's the syllable end?
I don't know where the syllable ends.
There's
all these
Armadillium, or is it Armad? Ilium.
Armad as in, and then Ilium as in.
Well, and that's the thing. Yeah, exactly. It'd be and then vulgari means something like, And
we want to thank passworld.org for giving us the permission to use their website. What are pill bugs? Pill bugs, the only crustacean that has become completely adapted to spending its life on land. Pill bugs are sometimes referred to as roly-polies, as my daughter Angelica loves to call them. And this name is due to the fact that the pill bug can roll itself into a tight ball when disturbed, and pill bugs live around the world. Armadillium vulgare is the most common species in the U.S. If you have an infestation, read below and how to find out how to get rid of the pill bug. So let's read on prevention. The key to getting rid of pill bugs is to eliminate moist sites that make their survival possible. Remove piles of grass clipping, leaves around the property, storefront firewood off the ground, away from the home, and properly ventilate basements, attics, and crawl spaces. If you need to get rid of pill bugs that have already entered the home or building, vacuum cleaner can aid in the removal. If pill bugs continue to be a problem, contact a licensed pet control professional. But I want to add again that if you have a compost bin around your yard or something like that, most likely you're going to find these pill bugs there. And so if you find them in your garden, one thing you can do is, like you said, use the Demetrius earth to get rid of them, or eliminate the moist patches around your garden. I mean, most of us think that our gardens have to be drenched all the time in water, which is not true. I mean, if your garden gets about an inch of water a week, that is plenty enough for your garden. I mean, I water my garden probably twice a week. I really flood it out both times because that's the way that I water. And then, I'm really kind of conservative. We have to be conservative with our water here in California because we have too many people and not enough water. So we got to be smart on how we water. And of course, the water companies want to come and they want to, restrict our water use and stuff like that. But really, there's some very simple ways to take care of your pests. Most of them natural. The most natural way you can do it is to get yourself a compost bin. eliminate some of the water spots around your place. If you want to catch them and get rid of them, of course, do some of the items that I said. I'll be posting these links in the show notes underneath the YouTube link, and also underneath the podcast links. You can get those whenever you get there. And that's kind of what we're into, man. We're into organic gardening. We don't like to use Roundup, and we don't like to use all kinds of pesticides. I use Job organic fertilizer, which is mostly blood meal and stuff like that to feed my plants. It works fine. And just being kind to the earth is going to benefit you the most when it comes to gardening, and even with the seeds. And actually, the seeds that you buy in the store, or the heirloom seeds that you have been around for so long that a lot of them have a lot of these inhibitors in them that are going to be pest resistant, because that's just the nature of how the genealogy of these seeds have evolved over the years and years and years. And it's really not too much of a science in planting seeds and growing seeds as much as it is taking care of your soil and taking care of your garden. So that's kind of what we have all for the garden section today. And we'll have to break here for a minute just to do that. I'll let Dougie end up his segment and see what he wants to say at the end of this, and then we'll break for a commercial, and then we'll be back after that. What do you got, Doug?
Well, the Roly-Polies, they're beneficial. All right, they don't bite. They're not harmful to people. Might be a little gross. You don't want them crawling on you, but and if you want to get rid of them, it's the same type of thing. They like to go in between things. They like to hide under things. You can catch them by just making a little trap, make a little environment for them. When they move in, move it to the garbage.
There you go.
And you don't have to use any pesticides or anything like that. You don't have to sit there and stamp them one at a time. Just wholesale.
or do like I used to do and just agitate them and then flick them across the ground like a marble.
Yeah. Oh, kids, don't try shooting them through pea shooters.
I don't know how they taste. They're
exactly. I don't think you want. Anyway, next.
We'll be right back. And we're back to Icky, bugs, slugs, beetles, and they ain't all in the garden. And we just got done with our garden feature for today. And like I said, we just want to thank you for being here on the Weather Soul podcast and listening to me and Doug and giving you guys, you giving us an hour of your time to sit here and listen to two old guys just banter and conversate back and forth. But now comes the time where I have my most fun all the way through this podcast, but I do like to lampoon the news and stuff like that. But I've had some interesting comments on the Facebook page. Actually, my personal page. I asked this question to Doug, and I'm going to ask him again because I don't know how you feel about it. I don't know how the audience feels about it, because I know how you feel about it. I know how I feel about it. I know that I've done all kinds of different items on coronavirus and masks and stuff like that. Now we're into the vaccine stuff. And to tell you the truth, you're not going to know. I mean, Dougie's my close friend. I might tell him, but basically nobody's going to know if I got the vaccine or not. It really to me, some things are very, very personal to me, and my medical history is pretty much I like to keep that as private as possible. And I'm wondering, and it was and it's been a wonder for me. It's been a wonder for me on I cruise around Facebook, I cruise around Twitter, I cruise around a lot of the sites, and what I see is that people will post that, hey, they got their vaccine, hey, we're proud, we got our vaccine, hey, they'll show their vaccine card, or they'll post a little frame around their profile page and stuff like that, and it irks some people. It doesn't irk me. It just questions me. I'm curious about things because what you do, what Doug does, what anybody else does on their web page, really doesn't concern me. I do question it. Sometimes I'll debate it. Sometimes I'm curious to get in the conversation. So I asked the Facebook crew actually, hey, is it your right to know if I've been vaccinated? And if so, then what other information is your right to know about me? So I'm not going to share the actual page with you because I haven't blurred out the names, and I really don't want to, divulge or dox the names of the people that have commented on it. But I've had some pretty interesting comments on it. And one was, hell no, I'm not getting one, and I think it's overrated. Well, I didn't ask if anybody was getting the vaccination. I just asked, do you have a right to know if I've been vaccinated? So that comment kind of, we thank you for commenting on it, and we're glad that you do comment on it. And then one of my friends that that I have a contentious relationship with on Facebook, she actually gave me a really, really good thought out comment on it, and I just really thank her. Sherry, you know who you are. And because I said I would say first names. If you have an STD and we're about to have unprotected sex, it's my right to know. Legally, no, but if I didn't know that I was going to get infected and it affects my future health. Why do we have laws in the state that knowingly infect other person and disease is a crime? Well, I have to correct her there because California did make it not legal, or they did decriminalize the fact that you don't have to divulge your HIV status anymore. I mean, that's nobody can hold you liable if you have unprotected sex with somebody and they get HIV. There's no law there. It used to be a law there before, so I have to correct that. COVID vaccinations are not 100% protections against a highly infectious disease that has a long-term health consequences and can be fatal. So you can choose how you want to protect yourself and your health, but if you choose to likely become infected, you also have an ethical responsibility to inform people that you are interacting with that you can potentially harm them. So yeah, I want to thank you because that's a well thought out, unpretentious comment that I got from her. I mean, probably one of the first ones I have. She often accuses me at yelling at Facebook, and I do that all the time. But what's your thoughts there, Dougie? Because I know.
Can I read my answer to you?
Absolutely, read your answer to me.
Okay. All right. Personal responsibility is the willingness to both accept the importance of standards that society establishes for individual behavior and to make strenuous personal efforts to live by those standards.
Yes.
Okay. Personal responsibility or personal responsibility or individual responsibility is the idea that human beings choose, instigate, or otherwise cause their own actions. A corollary idea is that because we cause our actions, we can be held morally accountable or legally liable. So, you can choose not to tell somebody that you're not vaccinated, but if you get them sick, they should have the right to kill you.
That's way different than you texted me earlier.
That's exactly what I read.
Is that exactly what you read? Okay, I didn't.
All right, so my conclusion to that is, so I would say I have the right to know everything about you that can or may affect me. Otherwise, you have the choice to stay away from me or face any consequences for your actions.
I halfway agree with that. I agree that you should also take the precaution also, which I would imagine that you would.
No, I don't have to take the precaution if the standard of society is that you get vaccinated and you go out. Okay, you don't want to follow that standard, then you keep your ass home.
Oh,
And
now
if you don't want to let me know that you have done that, then just stay the fuck away from me.
Oh, got it.
It's
Okay.
that simple. And that's what you're going to find is going to happen to
That's what we're going to find
everybody out here. Because I already know that a lot of people that you know are big socializers and organizers of social events are going to pretty much say, don't come to my house if you don't have a vaccine. Sorry.
Yeah, and I guess
that's period.
And
that's simple.
That's a decision that has to be made by private citizens. But and your personal responsibility is that. I totally agree with you.
And if you don't want to tell me whether you got a vaccine or not, then you're in the not vaccinated category. That's simple.
I disagree with that.
That's simple. Too bad. If I say you can't come to my house unless you're vaccinated, and you won't tell me whether or not you're vaccinated, that is a no. Period. That's how that works.
I would say as close as we are, that I would be able to tell you whether I was vaccinated or not. For the most people,
well, the U is
for most people, I would not. I mean, to me, posting it on Facebook that I've been vaccinated is either encouraging people to get vaccinated, or you're proud to be vaccinated, or you're just virtue signaling to say, hey, I got vaccinated, and you should, or shame on you if you don't.
So in other words, let's say I wanted to have a house concert.
Yep.
Okay, and I get a group, comes in 1, 2 people, whatever, 8 people. They set up in my living room. They want to play. I'm gonna get donations, $20 each. Anybody wants to come over and listen to them.
Yep.
If you're not vaccinated, don't even park in front of my house. don't even drive by.
Even if they're outside.
Even if they're outside, I don't care. Okay.
So
now, if we have an outside concert, that's different.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, you know what? We can parse words here.
Then you can come, but I won't talk to you unless you tell me you're vaccinated.
And this is why we love Dougie, because Dougie is that way, man. We just love Dougie. So she goes on again, and she says, Bruce, my 2 cents is this: I don't control other people personally, and I don't see anything offensive in somebody posting a selfie after they've been vaccinated or putting a frame around their profile picture. It's a huge feeling of elation and relief once you receive your second shot, or shot if it happens to be J&J, which I'm waiting for. And I completely understand wanting to share that feeling. So, in my situation, I'm saying right now that, number one, people aren't going to know whether I got. I'm going to announce it on Twitter. I'm not going to announce it on this podcast. I'm not going to announce it on Facebook whether I've been vaccinated or not, because
I'm not going to announce it anywhere.
Because frankly, it's none of
I'm going to tell the people I care about.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
The people that I interact with. I tell everybody.
And frankly, it's nobody else's business. But
wait a minute. Oh yeah, I got Baby Robin's blue underwear on today too.
Those people that are most closest to me, and yes, and one of the main reasons why I'm getting vaccinated is not for myself as much as that I have my older mother that comes here and lives with me, and even though that she's been vaccinated, with the controversy that's being surrounded by the vaccination and the fact that they cannot guarantee that you will not get COVID, they cannot guarantee that you will have antibodies that will last more than 6 months or whatever amount of time there is. They can't guarantee that you're not carrying the COVID virus even after you've been vaccinated and stuff like that. Is enough to be concerned, especially when you have somebody.
That's why everybody has to get vaccinated.
That is vulnerable, and I don't agree with that either. But that's another.
Well, I do, because you know what? I'm not going to have any remorse for anybody that I get sick after I've been vaccinated and they decided not to, and they had their chance. And also, if anybody lies about their vaccine, okay, then they're a liar. They're probably not my friend. Number one,
your friend anyway.
And number two, that makes them thoroughly liable for anything that happens, any consequences due to their actions. So if they say I'm vaccinated and then they don't know it, but they're sick, and they get my group sick, they're going to get skinned alive.
Yeah, well, how can you hold them responsible and not Pfizer or Moderna responsible for a fuck up in their vaccination? Not saying that there will be, just
because
saying.
They're the one that lied. They're the one that said I'm vaccinated when they weren't.
In any case, this is really
no. I mean, that's a moral issue.
But
if you're going to go around lying to people that you got vaccinated, then you know what? You should go move to an island somewhere. Sorry.
Probably could, but again, I don't agree that everybody needs to get vaccinated because there's a certain part of the population that could be immune. There's a certain part of the population that's going to become
Could be. That doesn't mean anything. Could be.
it could be. Well,
No. How about we all say, let the other guys get herd immunity? How about we say that? I gotta get my vaccine. I'll let the other guys get the herd immunity for me. We all say that.
Okay, so well,
then there's no vaccines at all.
But people got herd immunity from the bubonic plague.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did. How did the bubonic plague stop from killing people?
People got cats that ate the rats.
Well, there was enough cats to eat the rats.
Yes, that's what happened. They stopped killing cats because they stopped killing cats because they decided that they're not so evil.
Yeah.
Well,
my sister.
Bubonic plague killed 200 million people back in the 1300s, when there was about 800 million people on the planet.
Probably.
So today that would be what about let's see, billion and a half, billion and three quarters people would have to die.
I thought it was like
we fill up the Atlantic Ocean with dead bodies.
I thought it was like 15% of the population or something like that died of the bubonic plague.
Well, it was the high end here for the first bubonic plague. All right, the Black Death from 1347 to 1351. Okay, 4 years, 200 million people.
200 million people. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. Yeah. And that's a lot of people for that time of year.
Yeah. And listen, back in June of last year when we were talking, COVID was like 17 on the list of worse. It's up to 7 now.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow. That's
yeah.
And
but there's nothing to worry about. It's just like a flu.
Well, let me tell you something. Me and Doug here on the Weather Soul podcast know that COVID is no joke. Okay, and if you think that COVID is a joke, then you haven't been really looking around. My next door neighbor passed away from it. My other next door neighbor is still on oxygen, and she's doing a long-term COVID. What do they call? She's one of the long-term COVIDs.
Yeah, her lungs got ruined.
Her lungs are. Yeah. And both of them, unbeknownst to them, just had, they had some comorbidities and they were going to get it and things like that. They weren't around to get the vaccine in time. And in fact, one of them was a healthcare worker, and she's no longer working in the healthcare industry right now because she's battling it pretty good. I've got other people. A good friend of mine in North Carolina just contracted COVID. She's feeling better now. It's been a week now, and she's starting to feel better. And it's a no joke. So
do you care about these people?
I care about these people immensely. So
so you wouldn't do the smallest thing to try to help them, right? By getting a little shot in your arm.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just waiting for my turn. That's all.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out there rhetorically.
Oh yeah, rhetorically, yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a responsibility, and it's a situation that people have to take on a personal basis. And like you said, it's a personal responsibility. If you're going to slam that personal responsibility on somebody who says that they're not going to take it, well, that's the situation where you have to say, whether you took it or not. I'm not going to canvass everybody who comes over to this house and say, did you get your vaccine or not? It's just been one of those situations where I only invite people over to my house that I know that are safe and have personal responsibility, and they're going to let me know.
What about a patriotic point of view? Okay, wouldn't you like to see America be free of this horrible plague that's on us?
I want to see the world.
Wouldn't you love to see it gone? Wouldn't you be able to say, "Ha, we got rid of it"?
I want to see the world do that. That's where I want to see.
Well, yeah, but how about we just start with our neighborhood?
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice.
Right? I would start somewhere.
So it's definitely got to be a community unity thing, and me and Doug could be split on who needs to get it and who doesn't. But the fact of the matter is that COVID's real. I really want to kind of ramp down the COVID discussion, but we're going to keep having it as long as COVID's around. We've been kind of weaning ourselves off it a little bit at a time. But I think that it's a discussion that we have to have every week. We got to say something about it, and like I said, I'm just waiting my turn in line. Or it's not as easy as they say to go get a vaccine. I mean, really, it isn't.
It was easy for me.
I read an article. Yeah, it was easy for you.
It was so easy. Went online, made an appointment, went to the school, walked in, got a shot, sat down for 15 minutes, left.
All righty, Dougie.
Our appointment was at 2:30. We got there at 2:20. We got there at 2:15. We were in the door and already with the needle in our arm at 2:30.
All righty, Dougie.
A piece of cake.
Where's it at, Dougie? Where's it at? Channel 2 came out with an article today. KTVU, Fox 2 came out with an article.
Well, remember, they're only going to give you the bad news.
They're only going to give us the bad news, that's for sure. I want to make sure that me and Dougie are straight on this, because one of the things that they came with this morning was, let me see if I can find it here.
While you're looking, I'd like to say too, everybody else that was there with us, there's like 15, 20 people in the in line at the processing at a time, all said this was so bloody easy, I can't believe it. And that was the one in Morgan Hill at Sobrato High School.
Yep. I believe you can get there.
Walk out.
Damn it, these guys took it off here already.
The volunteers were as nice as can be.
Yep.
They were all really, really good people. I mean, there wasn't anybody uptight. You got to go. Yeah, turn left. No, it's just like, just come over here and hang out.
Keep going, Dougie. Keep going, because this is your show today, and I got to find this.
Yeah. Well, the thing too is it shouldn't even be a matter of like, oh, you can't tell me what to do, or it's been so politicized that it's like I almost think that people are only doing it because of political affiliations, not because of any medical or social or health or anything else. You know what I mean? It's like it's like Trump got a shot.
Yeah, I think
Trump got his vaccine.
Yeah.
Okay. So if King Orange Lizard got a vaccine,
why can't
there's no political excuse anymore. There's no like, oh, Bill Gates program Trump. You think that happened, right? You really think that happened?
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Q, man. Where's Q? But
yeah.
No, one of the things that you commented when we were talking about this the other day on my way home from work is that, hey, we're getting live freaking results from a long-term trial on a vaccine that people are all freaked out about. And there is. We talked about blood clots. We talked about the side effects. We talked about side effects of all kinds of drugs and stuff like that, which is kind of weird that some people J&J took the FDA took their vaccine off of the market because 7 people got blood clots and 1 person died, but 1 out of 1,000 women get blood clots from doing oral contraceptives, and so I mean they don't not take the oral contraceptives off the market. So I mean,
and if you watch TV, before 2 in the afternoon or after 8 at night, all you see is drug commercials, and 4 out of 5 of them in that quick list of some of the side effects include blood clots, every one of them, man. I mean, 4 out of 5 of them.
I've seen how they do that, where they have a guy
and death
totally through the microphone, but you can spead that up and post edit.
Yeah.
So.
yeah. It's amazing what they can do and not make it sound like Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. So actually, I looked up a KTVU a news item that was on there this morning. It's not on there right now. I can't find it, but I will link to it once I find it. That most of the senior citizens that are having a hard time getting this vaccine are not getting it only because. Then we're talking about senior citizens that are very like my mother. Right.
That aren't going to drive there themselves.
Yeah, if my mom couldn't drive herself, or my mom couldn't get online, or anything like that, because most of the time you have to get online or you have to use the phone.
Exactly.
And it's very, very hard for our elderly people, which they're really, really concerned about. And I'm really, really concerned about my mom. I'm concerned about my mother-in-law, because they're both elderly, and we got to look after them. And if it takes me to get a shot in the arm to make them feel better, then I guess I'm okay with it. And even though I'm a little leery about vaccines and stuff like that, I really I evened out taking my own flu shots every year, but I do every once in a while. But I want to encourage everybody to take a time out and sit back and really think about what's going on with this thing. We're going to go long tonight, so I mean, we're coming up on an hour, and I still got lots of show to do, and I'm sure that Dougie doesn't mind, because sometimes he goes like, "Hey, it's already time to go." But yeah, so but
we could take a little break and then start again and do 2 shows.
we still got time. I'm not putting another commercial break in there. I mean, I can do something on Plexus, but I do want to say something about Plexus and Plexus Worldwide and my plant-based supplements and probiotics, is that I'm coming out with a relaunch to my business. I've kind of put my business aside for the last couple of months because things have just been hectic. I've been really working on the Weather Soul podcast and working on my 9-to-5 job. So I've been kind of putting my little side business aside, but I really want to ramp it up. So coming in the next 2 weeks, if you've been watching the morning drive, which I do every day on YouTube, you can go subscribe to that also. In fact, if you subscribe to the Weather Soul Liberty Network, you're going to get all those podcasts in the pit of your stomach. Bruce for Liberty. You're going to get the Weather Soul podcast, which is the flagship, and you're going to get the morning drives every morning from me when I drive to work, and I tell you everything that I want to tell you about, whether I'm pissed off about the news or proud about something, or I'm virtue signaling basically for all of you to know. But anyway, you can get that all on WSLN, the Weather Soul Liberty Network, via YouTube, and just hit that subscribe button, hit that share button anytime that you want to, and we would just love you to be there. But I'm going to be, like I said, I'm going to be launching it out. Like I said this morning, those of you that I have your contact information, your addresses and phone numbers, you're going to be getting a present from me, and you can use that present for whatever you want to do. You can share it off to somebody, but I encourage you that if you get this present from me that you're going to be receiving in the next week or two, to please take time and give it a try. Give it a try. And if you don't want to give it a try, give it to somebody else who might benefit from it. You're going to find out that it's beneficial to you to start taking care of your wellness and your gut and your brain. And you're just going to find out that there's a lot of things that you can do with just a couple of supplements and not taking all these weird medicines that the doctors just want to give you, and that's kind of what I have to say about that. But we're going to go on. We're going to run a little long tonight because I still got stuff to do. In case you missed it, and we don't have an intro to in case you missed it, but we're going to do a new segment, and the new segment is going to keep going on every week on the Weather Soul podcast. What we want you to do, and I don't have a slide for it, but if you want to be a part of the Weather Soul podcast, whether you want to do it by audio, whether you want to do it by video, or whether you want to just do it by text, we're just offering you the time to come in and do a topic. Give us a topic. Say, in case you missed it, and then give us the topic. You can do a video that just says this right here. You just go look into your phone and go, hey, in case you missed it. And then you can give us the topic, or you can say, you're going to give us an email and say, hey, in case you missed it, blah, blah, blah. Or you can give us a little recording of your voice and say, hey, in case you missed it, this is what happened. That's what happened. So in case you missed it, today is a Fox News article that I infected my friend Dougie with. So
no, don't worry. I soaked my phone in bleach for an hour afterwards.
I infected Dougie with the Fox News virus. And I loved every minute of it, because I said, I know friends don't let friends do Fox News, but we have to talk about this. Not from the angle that they are screaming about, from the sex work, but from the sex work and regular work side, aka selling your body. To use your brain in your body, I use my brain and hands, and they just happen to use whatever it is they use. The congressman did nothing wrong, period. So I'm going to go to this Fox News item that I bookmarked and that I sent to Dougie, and Fox News decided that they would. Dougie decided Fox News, which is no better than the National Enquirer at any point in any kind of news that you read. Wisconsin Dems property used for seedy massage parlor that touted young masseuse. So this is an exclusive that the U.S. congressman from Wisconsin made thousands of dollars by renting a property to a massage parlor that advertised on the website that lists spas where people can pay for sex. Fox News has learned that Representative Ron Kind, a Democrat, disclosed between $1,500 or $15,000 and $50,000 in rental income from a building he rented in La Crosse, Wisconsin in 2018 and 2019. He has yet to file his 2020 financial report. One of the many tenants of Kind's property is an Asian Sunny Massage. Asian Sunny Massage, previously named Impression Spa, advertised various illicit websites that are known as avenues for illicit sex, and some such websites are Ruby Maps, Sorta List, and Body Rubs Maps, in case you want to know.
Yeah, you know what's funny about that too? I'll bet that place doesn't have one Democrat for a customer. Because trust me, La Crosse, Wisconsin does not have a lot of liberal people in it, even though they might have a representative.
Apparently they got a Democratic representative. So
yeah. So you know they got one in there, but not much of Wisconsin is very well.
I'm a libertarian.
You listen,
nothing wrong. This guy didn't
between Madison and La Crosse, it's very bucolic. It's nothing but like, you know, what you see like in paintings and stuff, you know, white fence, split rail fence, a little farmhouse way off in the distance, a couple of cows and a big tree, you know. It's really pretty nice out there. Yeah. So I wonder who this parlor's clientele would be. I know that they've got a really nice Ace Hardware there. So I need to get some stuff once. That's about all I know of La Crosse. Anyway, the point is, though, I totally agree with you. Why are we even talking about what? I mean, do you think that he sought out those tenants? Said, "Oh yeah, you know, we need a sleaze house, so come on, I got a place for you to rent."
Yeah.
Or do you think that he's got an agent that rents his properties out, and those people had money in their hand and said, "We need a place," and he said, "I need money, thank you." Right?
Let me do my inglorious bastards routine. That's a bingo.
Yeah.
It is preposterous to think that this guy would go out and he would canvass a Asian spa to come in and to rent his spots, which I'm sure that's not the only property that he owns. Okay. So, I mean, you know,
and he's probably got an agent that manages all that stuff.
Exactly. They got a property manager that does the whole thing. So, I mean, if I was if I own property, I really don't want to have to do anything with it. I hand it over to a property management company and let them do the business for me. Just give me the freaking profits, right? Or tell me when I need to fix something. So, I mean, that it's just ironically that how much these news sites and I'm going to key on Fox News right now because you know I've always bitched about CNN and MSNBC. They do their share, but let's talk about Fox News. I mean, come on, man. Seriously. I mean, if you really want to go find some really shit news, I mean, you're going to go to Fox News. That's the brass tacks about the whole thing. You're really going to go to Fox News to go get it because you're going to get the sensational headlines. You're going to get the "we don't like Democrat" type crap, and stuff like that. They did, and it's just it's amazing to me what they will use to get your attention. And this one got my attention just because I thought it was ludicrous to begin with. So, and that's why I go to Fox News to get the most ludicrous news items that I can to piss Dougie off. So he knows that's how I do it. So I bait him right in and I go fishing for him. So I'm a big troller.
Yeah, well, if I watched more Fox News, I'm sure I could bash them. But most of what I see about Fox News, I see as satire, like on Colbert Report or The Daily Show. You know what I mean? It's like, they'll be making fun of Fox News like we are now. That's about all I ever see at Fox News.
Right. Well, I was hoping actually Jimmy Dore would talk about me in his podcast today because I was trying to punch up on him during Twitter, but I do a little bit of sensational stuff with him too. But anyway, back to the news item, because the thing that I took away from it really was not so much the news item itself, but the comments that we both read underneath it, and it's incredible what the world is out there that is painful. That comments underneath it. It's painful because you got the worst of the left and you got the worst of the right, that they sit there and they bicker about these things. And you got the righteous right that actually go in there and they're talking about how terrible it was and sex trafficking and all this other stuff. And let's talk about that. Let's talk about selling your body, Doug. Let's talk about the real brass tacks about selling your body. I sell my
body every day. I have since I was 16 years old.
I have sold my body every day since I was 13 years old. I have sold my brain. I have sold these muscles here. I have sold my legs, my knees, my shoulders, my neck, my brain, everything to make the American dollar, to make this American dream. And let me tell you something right now. I'm going to tell you something that's not going to be very popular with my conservative people out there, and those people that are like just really ultra righteous, is like, if a woman wants to go out there and she wants to sell her body, whatever piece of her body she wants to sell, I don't have to answer for that, man. I don't have to answer for that. And to me, I don't.
Why don't we look at it in the mirror and say, if women were dirty dogs like men, would I sell my body to them?
That's a good. I couldn't have said it any better, man. I'm telling you, I couldn't have said it any better.
And it does happen.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it does happen for sure. But I think the main thing is that people just need to get their heads out of their asses when they talk about this stuff, because they never think that they're selling their body to make the American dollar, man. And and is it more ethical to swing a hammer than it is to sell your body on this, on the street or on a website or in an Asian massage or parlor or whatever?
Well, I guess some people would say, it's an ethical thing, and that norm or standard comes from mostly religions.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think
trying to keep fidelity.
Yeah, but remember, everything's a religion too. So I mean, we can talk. Just me and you sitting here talking about what we talk.
I'm saying in our society, though.
Oh yeah, I understand.
The reason why prostitution's a dirty thing is because it's like it's not, you're not having sex for a baby.
Right.
Which so you shouldn't even do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
First of all, right? And then if you're cheating on your wife or something, well, then that's adultery.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And the temptation is
seven sins and everything. But the fact of the matter is that it's the world's oldest profession. So, I mean, probably a woman was the first entrepreneur, right? I mean,
most likely. Yeah.
Mongo wasn't coming around selling rocks. I'm telling you that, because you could grab a rock off of the ground. So Mongo wasn't selling rocks with sticks. But his girlfriend was selling something for sure. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, and it really, it has to do, and that kind of stuff. I guess where the problem comes into this conversation is where there's sex trafficking, where someone's being used as a slave,
That is
as
way
opposed
different.
to an entrepreneur or an employee.
That is a way different subject, and
It is a different subject, but that's why
and
it's
I
so
do know.
taboo.
Yeah, and I do know some sex workers that, and believe me, they are 150% against sex trafficking, child porn, all these things, and they are big advocates against it. I mean, and it would be incredible the kind of support that they have behind them, and it's the drugs of society.
And I don't blame them because they don't want their profession to be associated with that kind of.
No, absolutely not. I mean, it cuts into their profits, right? So
But
I mean,
unfortunately, they are. They're all like grouped into the same ball.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And so it's all bad.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
like, say no. Just say no. Just say no. They're all bad.
Exactly. Well, I'm glad we had that little conversation. Like I said, we got a little over time tonight, but hey, it was planned to go a little over time tonight because me and Dougie, we just don't like to be rushed off. But actually, I had to rush off today because actually, this is the day that I'm supposed to post this podcast audio wise, so I've got a little bit of work to do as soon as me and Doug are done with this podcast. But man, it's such a great time. I hope you guys like the new setup that we have here. I'm going to be hybriding these things more and more as I come up with the brand and all these slides and stuff. And like I said, if you want to contact us, you can contact us at facebook.com/groups The Weathered Soul Podcast. You can go in there and you can join my podcast group. You can go to facebook.com/groups In the Pit of My Stomach to find out about probiotics and plant-based supplements. You can email us at info@weatheredsoul.com. That's WEATHRDSOUL.com, or info in the pit of my stomach @gmail.com. Also, you can listen to us on anchor.fm/The Weathered Soul Podcast. Get us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Radio Public, Podcast, Pocket Cast, Overcast, Breaker, Google Podcasts, and any other podcast that you might use. And watch us on YouTube on the Weathered Soul Liberty Network. Get us to 100 subscribers so we can get our own URL. And if you're watching us on YouTube, hit that like and hit that share button and subscribe. And finally, please leave us a 5-star rating and a comment on iTunes or any place you can, and we will love you forever. And this is the time where I say, Dougie, I love you, man. Thank you for being my co-host. I'm glad that Donna tried to shut me up a little bit more tonight so I can let you talk, because she loves to hear you talk. And
it almost worked.
We try to do as much as we can and as much as we can. We've had a couple of comments in there. We want to thank everybody whose comments on the Facebook user site and on the YouTube site. We want to thank you that we had a couple of comments there. What if I lied to tell you I'm vaccinated? How would you know? I would never lie about that, but some people would. But I would not ever. So there was a couple of comments from Facebook.
Well, it was a legitimate question, and I'm glad that we had it, because it's true. What if you lie?
It is. What if you lie?
If you lie, you're a scumbag, and then if you get caught, who cares what happens to you?
You're not in the circle of trust anymore. So
that's right. Not even bouncing off the edges.
Exactly. But we want to thank you guys for being here. We really, really, really love you, and keep those comments coming, whether you're on my personal my personal Facebook site, or whether you go to one of the group sites. We just love you to be here and commenting all the time. Our listenership is going up. Our viewership is even better. So get somebody over there and share the audio podcast, because I'd like those things to go up. That's where we make our money the most. We're getting little bits and pieces of money. There's a place where you can buy. You can donate to our website. I'll be coming out more with that in the next couple of weeks. And just you know what, if you keep doing that and sharing this place, and I promise you we'll be back next week with another interesting show, some more garden stuff, and some more banter along with everything else. Say goodnight, Dougie.
Good night, Dougie.
Hey, this is AKA the Weathered Soul and DJ Dougie, and we're just going to say goodnight. Sorry we went overtime, but we love you, and we'll see you